So you wouldn't believe how many times people call me and say, I don't know if I can divorce my husband or my wife because I'm not sure if they're a narcissist or not. So you don't have to have a narcissist husband or wife to divorce them. You need to know that you're in a toxic situation. So even psychiatrists have a really hard time diagnosing narcissists. But here's the criteria they use. There are 9 areas, and if they feel like they can check 5 of the 9 boxes, then they can diagnose them as a narcissist. But of course, this is very subjective and not a perfect science. So I'm gonna go through with you on this video the 9 traits that psychiatrists look for, and you be the judge. But what we're trying to determine here is if they're toxic to you, if these behaviors become toxic to you. So we'll talk more about that in this video. But first, will you do me a favor and subscribe to my channel, because that's how these videos are going to get in front of more of the people who really need to hear this information. I'm Victoria McCooey. I'm a narcissist divorce coach, a motivational speaker, and the creator of the Reclaim Your Power system. I help people every day who are right where you are, stuck in a toxic marriage to a narcissistic spouse, or already engaged in a contentious divorce from one. Okay, so as I was saying, it doesn't so much matter if your spouse is a narcissist. These behaviors can become toxic. So if you're living in a household with a person who is this toxic, it's like, for you, it's like living in a house with carbon monoxide poisoning, right? This is making you sick. It is wearing you down. It's making you become compromised. So narcissists can't be fixed. There is no therapy and there is no pill that can cure this. So this is out of your realm of being able to change, right? This is a situation where you have to figure out where your threshold for this level of pain is, this level of toxicity. Some people's threshold will be higher or lower than others. So it is a very individual thing. There's not a one-size-fits-all solution to when it's the right time to divorce a narcissistic person. And I say narcissistic because we don't know if they're a narcissist, and it doesn't matter. Their behaviors can be narcissistic and they can become toxic to you. So let's go through those 9 categories that a psychiatrist would look for when trying to diagnose a narcissist. Number 1 is grandiosity. So this is very common. They're bigger than life. They think they're more important, smarter, handsomer, whatever, more than anybody else. The laws don't apply to them. The rules don't apply to them. They should have special treatment. They are bigger and better. They have this vision of themselves as being much more important than anyone else. Number 2 is an obsession with success, beauty, or power. All right, so they are obsessed, consumed with the idea of their own success or their own beauty or their own power. So some of these are more likely to be seen in male narcissists, others are more likely to be seen in female narcissists, but it's that vanity, you know, that they're so obsessed with these traits about themselves. Number 3, they think they're special. And not only do they think they're special, but they think they should only interact with other people who are also on their level of specialness. They only want to be surrounded or converse with people they deem worthy of them, who are also in this elite category that they put themselves in of being so special. Number 4 is their need for admiration. They need for everyone to feel about them the way they feel about them. They need for everyone to admire them, to look up to them, to hold them in high esteem. And if you don't, there will be hell to pay. Or they would just discard you if you don't admire them the way they think they deserve to be admired. Number 5, there's a lot of overlap in these. Number 5 is entitlement. Again, it's a lot like we were talking about in the others, this idea that they are special and deserve special treatment. So they're entitled to the best seat at the restaurant, or the best of anything, the best car, the most beautiful partner, whatever. They can't stand that their own child, they're entitled to the perfect child. And if that child fails their expectations in some way, that's a real problem for them. They can't acknowledge anything like that, a fault in something that reflects back onto them. They're entitled to have the best of everything. Number 6 is they're interpersonally exploitative. All right, what that means is they use other people for their own bidding. They will exploit them, their own family even, their friends, their colleagues, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever needs to be done to further their agenda or promote themselves or feel good about themselves or, again, reflect on their own beauty, success, power, they will do at any cost to anybody else. They will exploit other people for their own benefit. Number 7 is the one we're most familiar with, their lack of empathy. It's uncanny to those of us who are wired normally, but it's like they're missing a gene, that they don't have the ability to put themselves in someone else's shoes. We all do it so naturally. If someone's hurting, we can feel their pain. We can imagine how someone might feel in a situation that we haven't been in. They cannot. They can pretend to. They understand that they're lacking. They understand that other people have this ability that they don't have, so they might pretend to be going through empathy, but they really can't. A real good example of this is how when I see my clients leaving, say it's a woman leaving a narcissistic man, and the man is begging her to come back, but then like the next day is living with another woman, like immediately over it and on to the next partner. And they're like, how can that happen? How can he go from being so upset about this to immediately being in love with somebody else? It's because they have no empathy, and by virtue of that, I say they're like a tree with no roots, right? So you and I are like a tree with roots. We're normal. We have this whole underground system of roots that you can't see, but they tie us to a place, a relationship, a situation. We're dug in. We can't just be moved very easily. It would be very hard to dig up our tree that has all these massive root systems underground. They're a tree with no roots. You could pick up this tree easily, move it to a new situation, plop it down, and it looks the same. That's what they do. They just plop themselves down into another situation because they have no root system. They don't have that connection. They can just as easily be in another relationship than they are in this one because they don't have the same human connection. And I think a lot of that stems from not being able to have empathy. Number 8 is envy. They are jealous. They're jealous of everyone and everything because of that entitlement again, right? They think they deserve everything. And if anyone has something that they don't, they're jealous. They're jealous of even their own family, anyone. They're jealous of, and that's not just romantic jealousy. It's jealousy about things, about the way somebody might look or what they have or anything and everything. They have an incredible amount of envy. And number 9, everyone's favorite, arrogance, oh my goodness. They are so arrogant. They're bullies, they're mean, they belittle people, they disparage people, whatever it takes for them to feel better about themselves, because they're very compromised people. They actually have very low self-worth, although you'd never be able to tell from all these behaviors. But these are all compensation methods that they use to try to feel better about themselves because they have such low self-esteem. So that's what a psychiatrist does. A psychiatrist will meet with and give testing to a person, and their criteria are if they can check 5 of the boxes, then that person can be diagnosed as a narcissist. Can you imagine any of these behaviors in yourself ever? Sure. I mean, you have spells where you might feel envy, or you might behave arrogantly one time, or it's not a one-time thing, right? So you could come up with an example of almost all of these in anyone. That's not what we're talking about. That doesn't make somebody a narcissist because someone has a bad day or says something out of line one time. So it's deeper than that, and it's very hard to diagnose, and it's not important. If the person is behaving this way in a consistent way and in a way that makes you feel unhealthy, abused, if it's a toxic situation, that's what matters. You need to remove yourself from a situation where this is 24/7. This is coming at you 24/7 because you can't sustain that kind of abuse for long periods of time, because we are animals. We're wired just like the animals in the jungle who, when they see a predator, they go into fight or flight, and their whole body chemistry changes because they need to get away from that predator. So their body makes it easier for them to run faster, to think quicker, to whatever they need to get away from the predator. So their digestive juices change, all their enzymes change, all these things happen just like we do when we're feeling attacked or that we're in the presence of a predator. 24/7 though, our body chemistry changes. But unlike the deer in the woods who sees a coyote, we don't go right back when the predator leaves, because the predator never leaves. That deer will go right back to its normal body chemistry as soon as the coyote leaves its area, and it's like nothing ever happened. Unfortunately, we are always feeling this fight or flight chemistry because our predator doesn't leave. It's a 24/7 situation that we never get to heal from or recover from, and that's what will make you sick 100% of the time. The only variable is how long will it take for that to happen. So that's why you have to remove yourself from this toxic situation. If you need more help figuring out how to do that, please book a call with me. There will be a link below in the description where you can get on my calendar. Did you find this helpful? I hope you did. If you liked this video, will you please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I've linked a couple of other videos here that I think you might also like, so I hope I see you in the next video.